Hi, welcome to StoryMakers. You may not recognize me, but I'm Rocco Stano, and I'm here with Jeff Barron, the author of the Sean Rosen series. Hey, welcome. Why do we have these mustaches on?
Rocco, we're in disguise.
Well, not any longer. Well, tell us about Sean.
Sean Rosen is a 13-year-old. He's in the 7th grade, and he has a lot of ideas. He has ideas for movies, for TV shows, for games, and he thinks his ideas are so good that big Hollywood studios should be producing them. So he looks up one of their addresses on the internet, writes them a letter, says, I have an idea that I think you're really going to love. And he gets a 5-page letter back from their lawyer saying that if you want to submit anything to us, you have to do so through an agent or a manager. He tries to get an agent, he tries to get a manager. No one wants to represent a 13-year-old boy in the middle of the country. So he gets the big idea of inventing his own manager. He's a creative guy, so he comes up with characters, and one character he comes up with is named Dan Welch. He gets the idea from looking in his refrigerator, Dan and yogurt, Welch's grape juice, Dan Welch Management. He gets an email address. He writes to the same studio he wrote to before and says, I have this incredible client named Sean Rosen, and you won't believe it, he's 13 years old, but he has an idea for a movie or possibly a whole series of movies. You should talk to him. And he gets a meeting.
So how much of the 13 Sean Rosen is the 13 Jeff Barron?
Well, I was a creative kid. I did not have the guts to contact Hollywood and say, get ready for me. But, you know, he's like me in many ways, but I would say he's not quite me.
Well, the first book was I Represent Sean Rosen.
Right.
And the second book, which we have right here, is Sean Rosen Is Not for Sale. So it's part of a series.
Originally, it was a movie idea. I was a screenwriter first, and then I was a playwright. And when I wrote this, I was mostly a playwright. And I had this idea, what if a kid pretended to be his own manager? And I thought it might make a fun movie. And then, I don't know where this came from, but let me try writing it as a novel. I've never tried to write a novel. I don't know if I can. I don't know what it takes. But I just started writing in his voice, and he never shut up. He just kept going, and I kept writing it down. And you know, when you write funny stuff, you know whether it's working or not because you're laughing or you're not. And this kid made me laugh. So I just thought, okay, I'm enjoying this journey. I'm just going to stick with it. No pressure because no one was expecting a book from me. And when I finished, I thought, okay, I like this. Maybe I can get it published.
And was it easy to get it published?
You know, I have so many friends who have been trying to write books, and I felt guilty about this, but it kind of was. A
lot of people out there hate you right now.
I know, and I'm sorry. I apologize to everyone. But someone introduced me to an agent friend, and she really liked it. And she said, I can sell this. And I said, well, do you think it's a book for adults? And she said, no, it's a book for kids. I said, are you sure? She said, I'm completely sure. I said, well, why don't you submit it to some kid publishers and some adult publishers? And she said, okay, but it's kind of a waste of time. It's a book for kids. And I was very dubious about it. And then I have a cousin who was 12 at the time, and I gave him the whole book to read. And then I talked to him, and he got the book in the way that I want anyone to get the book. So I felt a little better about it. And sure enough, 2 big publishers wanted it, and
was there like a bidding war?
There was a little bit of a bidding war.
Oh, great! Well, that's boosts one's confidence. I'm sure.
It does. And you know from reading the books that when Sean Rosen discovers the term bidding war, he gets very excited and he engineers one because that's what you want to happen. But so it was a pretty smooth road. So I'm very lucky.
And one of the things that Sean Rosen does is he creates podcasts.
Yes, that was always part of the idea for this. I was trained as a film director, and I worked in movies and TV. I sometimes produced and sometimes directed as well as wrote. And I love the idea, especially in this internet age, of using transmedia storytelling to get the ideas of the book across and to bring the readers into Sean's world. So you read the books, which are conventional books, but you can also watch the videos that Sean makes. And you learn a lot about him from his videos. And he has videos about donuts and dogs and the post office and his cousin's bar mitzvah.
They're on your website. Isn't there a Sean Rosen?
Not my website,
that's right. That's
I am
right.
not Sean Rosen.
It's
SeanRosen.com.
Right.
Yeah, so all his videos live there, and there are always new ones.
And we actually have one that we're going to show right now, and then we'll talk about it.
Excellent.
It's Sean Rosen's podcast.
I want a donut. I want it now. I want to bite into a donut so my brain will go pow. It's a donut. It's delicious. How come they're so good? I'm suspicious. You want a donut? You want one too? Tell me what you like and I'll get it for you. Boston cream, it's like your favorite dream. Jelly, it's a present to your belly. Glazed, I'm amazed. I want a donut. You want a donut. Let's get a donut. I want a donut.
So I really feel like a donut after that.
I know, I should have brought donuts. I can't believe I didn't bring donuts.
Well, next time. But
Yeah.
tell us a little more about the second book without any spoilers.
I gave you the big spoiler already,
Right.
but that's okay.
Bidding War.
Bidding war. In the second book, he does engineer a bidding war. He takes care of the neighbor's dog. He really wants a dog, and his parents don't think that he's going to really take care of it. So he asks if he can walk the neighbor's dog, and this is a very big moment in Sean's life. And that goes well, and they say, "Can you take care of the dog for a weekend? We're going away." And he said, "Definitely." And something happens, something almost catastrophic, and it gives Sean an idea for a new TV series. He gets his ideas from real life, which I sometimes do too. I think, you know, our lives are so rich with drama and comedy, we can just draw from them. So now he has a few properties. He has a movie, he has a TV series, and something happens in the second book where he finally connects with Hollywood in a sort of explosive way.
Yeah, but he's still a 13-year-old, and he has those 13-year-old problems, you know, either peer pressure or working with not so friendly classmates. And so is that from your time as a 13-year-old?
To me, one of the interesting things about the book is he has this whole Hollywood thing going on. I mean, he's really in touch with a lot of people in Hollywood by now through Dan Welch. But he still has to go to 7th grade every day. And no one knows about his whole Hollywood life. His parents don't know, the teachers don't know. One of his friends knows, but a little bit. But really, it's his own kind of personal quest. And what I've heard a lot from teachers and parents and kids too is that they like that because his parents don't know about it, they can't ease the way for him. He has to figure everything out himself. So he hits a wall and then it's like, okay, that didn't work, what am I gonna do now? And he figures it out. And I think that's inspiring for kids.
Yeah, he is a confident 13-year-old in certain ways. You know, when he was having it's not a spoiler, when he was having a problem with a teacher, he handled it himself rather than have his parents come in.
Yeah, he's independent. He's an only child, which I think that contributes to it a little bit. Mm-hmm. And in that way, I identify with him because I am one too.
And so am I. So we have in common. So there is a lot of family interaction, both with Sean's family and grandparents and cousins, and also when he writes his movie script. That's also family interaction.
It's totally based on something that happens with him and his parents and his grandmother. And the name of his movie is A Week with Your Grandparents. And That's also the basis for the program I do as the artist in residence.
Yeah, tell us about that. That's you've done that in a school in Westchester, Ardsley Middle School?
Yes. Yeah, so this will be the 3rd year for that. And in Sean's movie, in the book, this brother and sister are really cranky about having to spend a week with their grandparents until they learn that their grandfather has invented a virtual reality time machine, that if you have someone's DNA, so if you spit on a slide and we put it into the machine, I can go to any day in your past and feel like I'm there with you. So this brother and sister do that with their grandparents, and they meet them as teenagers, and guess what? They're not boring old people anymore. They're cool teenagers, and so they see their grandparents in a totally different way. And what we do in Ardsley is sort of a real-life simulation of the virtual reality time machine. Each 7th grader interviews one of their grandparents about what they were like when they were 13, when they were in 7th grade. And they ask leading questions like, well, maybe I should ask you some of the questions.
Yeah, why don't you? That might be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of probing. Are you ready?
Okay, sure.
Okay. So how would kids in your 7th grade class describe you?
That's going back a long time. I wasn't the most popular kid, but I wasn't the least popular kid either. So But
would they say you're a smart kid?
I was a smart kid. I wasn't an athletic kid. I was a friendly kid.
Okay. Was there anything about you or your family that other kids didn't know?
About me and my family that the kids didn't know. I was a very sensitive kid, and I would sometimes become emotional. And it would be very easy for me, even in 7th grade, it was easy for me to cry. So that, yes. Oh, let me get a couch.
Okay, so they do the interviews with their grandparents, and then I give them an exercise for analyzing the interviews, because what they're going to do is create a character based on their grandparent in 7th grade. And then they're put in groups of 4 with other kids, and they have to create an original story using their 4 grandparents as 7th graders. And the story has to be set in the year that one of their grandparents was in 7th grade, and I'm not asking you what year you were in 7th grade, but they ask that question, and then they research that year, and then they write an original play that they perform in front of other kids in the school and me, and I act as a kind of a mentor and give them critiques on what they're working on the whole way through.
And so when they become famous authors, they have it all, you're the person responsible.
Well, I wouldn't say that at all, but it is a chance for even the non-writers, because all 160 kids do this, the special ed kids do it, everyone does it. They see what goes into a character, what goes into constructing a story, what goes into presenting something to an audience that you want the audience to stay with for 5 minutes. That sounds like an easy thing, but it's not. Mm-hmm. You know, to hold an audience's attention for a period of time. Those are the kinds of things that we talk about. I'm in the unfamiliar role of sort of educator mentor, which I like very much. That's been a beautiful surprise from this whole thing. I don't have kids. I hadn't been in a school since I was in school myself. I love going to school. I love presenting to kids, especially, you know, so I see like 3rd through 7th graders.
So what were you like as a 7th grader?
Well, if I had my bar mitzvah movie with me, I would show it to you and you would get a sense of who I was. But I was still riding high in 7th grade. I was one of the smart kids. I also was very friendly. I got along with everyone. I was vice president of my class, and I was sort of a late. I was sort of late to puberty, so I was a small kid, and you know, the rough times were in my near future, but I didn't know it yet. Mm-hmm. So I had a very good time in 7th grade. So
the 3rd Sean Rosen book is in the works. So what can you share about it?
Well, you know, Sean's been operating this gigantic entertainment business from his bedroom in his suburban household. But in the third book, he actually goes to Hollywood for the first time. And that is a real game changer for him. And some of his fearlessness runs into a wall. He isn't really a peer with all the people he's pretending to be a peer with. And someone finds out about it and doesn't like it.
Reading the book, I found out that Sean Rosen's favorite ice cream flavor is Baskin-Robbins Jamocha Almond Fudge. So let's toast our way out.
Oh, I love that.
Not bad.
I'll take that.
Remember, until next time, give a kid a book in any format. I think I'll have some more. I don't know if I actually want that in, but that's okay.
Oh, it's so great.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so things like that, and you're tearing up now, which I think is lovely.
Oh.
But, you know,